Hey guys, so instead of having someone else teach you word problems, since I've kind of already done this a little bit previously in class, I figured I would be the person to go through systems of equations word problem once again, just so we can make sure that we stay consistent. So I'm going to go through a couple word problems, give you a couple strategies, and then you will have an assignment where you will do some word problems on your own, okay? So on the first one, and what I also did is on your week assignments on Google Classroom, I put a PDF of this worksheet. So if you wanted to print it out or have it in front of you, if it's a little bit hard to see on the screen, you can have your own individual copy to take notes, much like I will do today. So it says Marcus is selling t-shirts at the state fair. He brings 200 shirts to sell. He has long sleeve and short sleeve t-shirts for sale. On the first day of the fair, he sells half of his long sleeve t-shirts and a third of his short sleeve t-shirts for a total of 80 t-shirts sold. How many of each type of t-shirt did Marcus bring to the fair? Okay, so remember we talked about how we figure out what to make X and Y is we go and find the question. What is it we're asked to look for? So the question that we're asked is how many of each type, and there are two types of t-shirts, did Marcus bring to the fair? Okay, so he has long sleeve t-shirts and short sleeve t-shirts. So let's make X long sleeve, and we're going to make Y short sleeve. Okay. Now we're going to go find our two totals, right? He brings 200 shirts to sell. So that's one total. He actually sells 80 t-shirts. Okay. So we have two different totals. We have a total of shirts he brings, and that's 200. And we have a total of shirts he sells, and that's equal to 80. Okay, so let's see what it tells us in the question about shirts he brings versus shirts he sells. So it doesn't really tell us how many shirts he brings. And if I look in my question, that's what I'm asked to find. I'm asked how much of each type of shirt did Marcus bring to the fair? Well, there's only two different types of shirts. There's long sleeve shirts and there's short sleeve shirts. So this equation is just going to be X plus Y is equal to 200. Okay, that's what he brought to the fair. He doesn't sell all of them. Instead, it tells you that he sells half of his long sleeve shirt. So I'm going to go 1/2 X and a third of his long sleeve shirts plus 1/3 Y, and that's going to equal 80 shirts that he sold. So here are my two equations. All right, I notice that they're both in standard form, so I can use elimination. Okay, so if I wanted to eliminate, I could eliminate X or I could eliminate Y. The nice thing is these both have coefficients of 1. So I can multiply this by -1/2 and those would cancel, or I can multiply this one by -1/3 and those would cancel. I'm going to multiply by -1/2 so that my X's will cancel because then I'll have opposites. So I need to multiply everything in that equation. So my new equation would be -1/2 X minus 1/2 Y, because -1/2 and Y is -1/2, equals -1/2 times 200. You want to think of that's just half of 200, but it's negative. So -100. Okay, my X's cancel out here. Now, if I'm not sure about my fractions, I'm going to take my calculator, and there's a link to a graphing calculator app on your Google Classroom. Sorry that the light keeps going back and forth. That's super weird. I don't know why it's doing that. And I'm going to do alpha y equals 1/3. Remember we said we add straight down. Sorry, it's hard to see my calculator. It's leaving stuff. Can you see my calculator now? You still cannot see my calculator. light back on. So I'll do it over on the side since you can't see my calculator screen. 1/3 plus a -1/2. And if I put that in my calculator, I'm going to get a -16y equals 80 plus a -100 is -20. Okay, we know how to get rid of fractions. We're going to multiply by the denominator. My variables cancel out. I'm left with -1y equals -120. Divide both sides by a -1, and y is equal to 120. All right, y was the number of short sleeve shirts that he brought to sell. So we know that he has 120 short sleeve shirts. I go back to one of my original equations to find how many total long sleeve shirts. So if he brought a total of 200, x plus y equals 200, and I now know that 120 of them are short sleeve shirts. I just subtract that 120 from the total, and x is equal to 80. So we had 80 long sleeve shirts. So 80 long sleeve and 120 short sleeve. And that's going to be my final answer. Okay. All right, the next one. This one is actually more similar to the ones on your assignment. It says Alicia has a booth at a flea market where she sells purses and wallets. All of her purses are the same price and all of her wallets are the same price. The first hour of the day, she sells 10 purses and 6 wallets for a total of $193. The second hour, she sells 8 purses and 10 wallets for a total of $183. How much does Alicia charge for each purse and each wallet? So again, here's our question. We're asked how much for each purse and each wallet. So we're going to make X cost of purse. So we're looking for money. And Y cost of wallet. So now we're going to look to see, are there totals here? So I have 2 totals. I have 193 as a total and 183. So it looks like the difference between the total is this is in the first hour and this is in the second hour. So I have first hour total is equal to 193. And then second hour total is equal to 183. So in the first hour, she sells 10 purses and 6 wallets for a total of $193. In the second hour, she sells 8 purses and 10 wallets for a total of $183. Okay, so again, they're both in standard form, so I can use elimination. Now, the tricky part here is we're actually going to have to multiply both of our equations. And the reason is because I can't multiply 8 and get 10, and I can't multiply 6 and get 10. So I'm going to make my y's 30 and -30 because 6 and 10 both go into 30. So to make this a positive 30, I'm going to multiply this equation by 5. And it's going to become 50x plus 30y is equal to, going to my calculator, 193 times 5 is equal to 965. And I'm going to multiply my second equation by -3 because I want this to be a -30 in order for them to cancel out. So -3 times 8 is -24x. -3 times 10, there's the opposite that I'm looking for. So those will cancel. And then 183 times -3 is -549. My y's cancel. That was the whole point of multiplying by those numbers, to get coefficients that were the same but opposite signs. 50 plus a -24 is a positive 26x. Okay, because the 50 is bigger, equals, going to my calculator, 965 plus a -549 is 416, and it's positive. which is good because I'm talking about money, so it should be positive. So I'm going to divide by 26, and x is equal to 16. So what did I just solve for? I go back. I found the cost of a purse. So the purse is $16. I now have to find the cost of a wallet. So I need to substitute back into either equation. It doesn't matter which one. So say I pick the first one. I'm going to have 10x, which x is 16, plus 6y is equal to 193. This is 160 plus 6y equals 193. Subtract 160. And get 6y is equal to 193 minus 160 is 33. Divide both sides by 6, and y is equal to, 5.5. Now we're talking about money. So 5.5 is an okay answer because it just means that the wallet cost $5.50. Okay, so cost of purse is 16. Cost of wallet is $5.50. Okay, I'm going to stop there for now, answer some questions that I'm getting on Google Hangout, and then I'll do a second video to do a couple more. Okay.